finished, we were setting our intention, and I was saying, I want to show people peace. If you already heard this, I want you to try and feel it stronger. I want to show you some ways to find peace and calm in yourself. But bigger than that, I want to free your mind. I want to help you to see how you can be your own brain engineer, how you could be happier, more blissful, more confident. So you can notice self-imposed limitations or reactions and then have the skills to transform them powerfully, playfully. And bigger than that, my intention is I want a world where everybody is helping each other to be awesome. So I hope this session empowers you with some things that really help you and help you just keep blossoming, keep thriving, and that you then share that out with others. And as a group, we help each other find ways to make that go viral, contagious positivity. And we're trying to grow that contagious positivity, to cultivate it, to create it. Welcome, Zanzibar. We just finished our intention setting, and we're going to dive into our session now. So some of you are brand new, and I just really wanted to emphasize these sessions are for you. Please don't let this just be a class, me sitting up here. Please ask questions. If something I say sounds far out, the things I'm talking about are achievable. If I talk about meditating on peace and learning how to find inner peace, I really mean it. I don't want anything to sound like it's some far out goal. And so if something sounds far out or disconnected, or you don't know exactly how to apply what I say, please ask. We've got to keep it real. All right, in the live chat, Marlisa said, love to all of you. And Hello Merck says, I finally made it a session again and I'm not too late. Nice. Great to have you here. Cool. Hey, Scaly Girl. So for those of you who are new, we often start with a meditation. As I was saying, meditation can mean lots of different things, all different kinds of mental skills, from relaxation to concentration to ways to change how we feel or make more patience or happiness. And we're just going to dive in, and it's a guided meditation, so all you have to do is sit back and just follow the suggestions. Then after that, we're going to have a discussion, and we also finish with a guided meditation as well. All right. So whether you're out on the live stream or here, let's get comfortable. If you're sitting on a cushion, I invite you to just check, are your knees beneath the cushion? Is your spine up straight? If you're sitting in a chair, you might like to sit up straight, or you might like to sit back into the chair. You can also check where are your hands and your shoulders. Just scan your attention from your toes, through your feet, through your legs, through your hips, and through your spine. When I feel my lower spine, that makes me like push my tummy forward and back, just to feel my lower spine a little to the side. And then feel your upper spine and pull your shoulders back, feel your chest. So as I'm aware of my spine and how I'm sitting, I just rock forward and back a little bit, and I find a way to sit. And I'm trying to imagine, what if I could just forget about my body and it could just sit in perfect peace? How would it line up? How would the vertebrae stack? That every muscle could just let go perfectly and my body would just sit in perfect poise, balance, strength, and dignity. So just feel your spine, feel your neck, take a few breaths, and let your body settle into that posture. If you notice that your mind's still thinking about the day, try to say, hey, right now, catching my mind. Right, I'm taking a few breaths and I'm feeling my body. Feeling my body now. Okay, and then as I feel my body, I'm letting my mind calm down a little, settle, feel my body relaxing. And it's not passive relaxing. I'm feeling my body. And as I feel different places, everywhere my attention touches feels better and better. And you might have noticed just then how I sped up my voice to try and get on the same page as people whose minds are racing, and then I actively just slowed it down. And you can do the same thing with your inner voice. Just notice if you're thinking now, change your tone of your mind and see how you can make yourself feel more present, more powerful, more peaceful. If your eyes are still open, I invite you to close them. This is some time to just be purely present with your consciousness. Everything else outside can just disappear for all you care. This is just time purely with your awareness. And take a few deeper breaths and just watch yourself feeling the breath. And at the start of each in-breath, you can reset the intention. Okay, here comes another one. I'm going to try and feel the whole in-breath and the whole out-breath. It's kind of like hitting a reset button on the brain. We're just letting everything else disappear. Here's the next breath. Right now, all I have to do is just feel the breath. It's like a little mini vacation. Right now, I'm just finding the most peaceful feelings just by feeling the breath. Some of you are finding that each breath feels more peaceful and more soothing, and that's great. Some things you can do to help that is to slow the breath down, like I mentioned, or to notice how the breath feels and subtly make the breath flow more easily with each breath. Some people who've had nice experiences in meditation, they remember those good feelings in their body, or they remember how their attention was just flowing so beautifully with the in and the out of the breath. And if there's any little moments where your mind's doing something else, celebrate those moments. Wow, I just noticed my mind more than I normally would. And I'm just going to see that part of me and then come back into my breath. It's like a mother hen gathering up all her little chicks. Every time you notice a piece of your mind and you just come back into your breath, it's like stretching out your wings and just bringing your whole consciousness together into a cozy family of peace. And if you've been coming regularly, maybe you can just take a moment to appreciate the people here that you know care about you and the people that you care about, and just feel everybody stepping into peace together and feeling caring for each other. And if you're brand new, I hope you can feel the positive intention that we have for you. Or at the very least, you just give yourself some moment of care. It's pretty special that you're taking some time to give yourself this gift, to nurture your inner peace, happiness, and bliss. It's so beautiful that you give that to yourself. So let's all just take 5 breaths and feel the caring in the room, the caring across the virtual worlds and through the video. Who knows, maybe this video will go viral. You could imagine sending out some peace and caring and love to hundreds or thousands or millions of people. You could also think of all the people in the world who meditated this week. All of us taking some time to cultivate peace, caring, positive ways of being. Let yourself have a feeling of connection with those hundreds of millions of people. And just know that you're cared for, and we wish you well, health and happiness. We'll have just one more minute of breathing, and as you just breathe, just let yourself enjoy and experience wherever your attention, whatever your consciousness does. And then you can shift your attention to notice your meditation. Does your body feel relaxed? Does your mind feel calm? Did the caring feel good? Perhaps there were some moments where you learned how to bring your attention back better than you ever have before. Or maybe you had some ideas or insights about your own mind or your feelings. Maybe you notice if you intentionally take another peaceful breath, that you're in a state that's just ready to make positive suggestions be felt more powerfully. And we often like, after our meditations, to just share how it was for us. So we're going to start by sharing anything positive. Maybe you just felt good, or maybe you had a nice experience, or an image, or an insight. So let's start if anyone wants to share anything positive from the meditation, or reflect anything positive, and then we can move on to any questions or anything. So I wanted to start by sharing that I didn't start that meditation with the idea of doing caring as a community. For me, sometimes or often meditation is a bit like musicians jamming. I just start or like an artist drawing. I just start and I see where the art takes me, where the music takes me. So beginning with the body scan and soothing breathing it's pretty standard. There's a little smorgasbord of beginning openings that I have to choose from. And then I saw on the live stream some of my friends who are sometimes here, and at the moment they're off around the world, and I suddenly wanted to give them a little more love. And then I thought of all of you who come regularly and how much I care about you, and so I threw that in. And then I was thinking about all of us, and the meditation kind of just took us there. And I just think it's really nice that when you meditate often, you can take creativity into positive places, and I hope you all enjoyed it and felt it. So now I want to open it up if anyone else would like to share, whether it's just a nice feeling you had or anything. Pops? Oh, I said pops, not puppy. Pups. Pops, not pups.
My bad.
Greetings,
So,
pups.
my meditation, um, when I completely cleared my head, my heart started racing a little. But then I felt a state of relaxation slowly coming to, and my heartbeat started to slow down more to more than where it was when I started meditating. Um, and there's sort of an image in my mind that I've cultivated over the past 3 years, whether my meditation was consistent or not consistent, of me sitting by a river, and any thought that comes to mind, I'm placing them on a lily pad, and that thought just floats down the river. And it brought back that vivid thought because I hadn't thought about it in a while. And so suddenly, for some reason, I thought, well, what if more lily pads keep coming down the river, but I don't have any thoughts to place on them? And then I thought, well, then I just let the lily pads float down the river.
It sounds very spacious and enlightening. Thanks so much for sharing.
Thank you.
In some famous meditation literature, they describe consciousness as moments that arise and disappear. I think they said like 80,000 times a second, or perhaps it was more. I don't take any credence to that number, but if you look really closely and try and see every moment of your consciousness, you see that there's just all these moments that just appear. And as you described all the lily pads going by, I felt like you were tuning into those ancient meditation masters.
Thank you. Yeah, just a tiny comment. Like very recently, I've only very recently started to feel like, from my practice and my learning, that I'm slowly going towards enlightenment, but I still have my own battles to face along that path.
Well, I'm really happy to hear that you had time with stillness and just emptiness in the mind. I think that is a foundation that can transform so many things more than we would normally think is possible. So I'm excited to hear how that continues for you. And for everybody else, if your mind was doing stuff the whole time, I hope that you can reflect and be like, oh yeah, there was a half a breath there where I was peaceful. What would it be like if I just kept practicing and felt that for 5 breaths or 5,000 breaths? And the feeling of stillness that we can create when we keep practicing it's beyond words or what people would normally imagine. So I hope everyone got at least a tiny taste of that today. So Fluffy Puppy, you had something you wanted to share?
Yes, I did. I had always find the brain the most interesting part of the body.
Mm.
And in that moment where I was in that moment of calm and stillness, I felt I I guess I felt my brain just like feel that calmness in my brain. And I didn't know if it was me that was doing it. I don't know if it was you or the people that that I'm thinking about. But my brain just calming down, just taking it slow, my heart taking it one at a time as I thought about the people that I care and love dearly. I, I'm beginning to believe that the brain is the most amazing part of the body, and without it, whatever could we do without thinking, and whatever could we do without feelings? It's a strange thing.
Yeah, our consciousness is so precious, and I'm so glad you got to deeply experience that. This is why I'm such a fan of meditation and consciousness training, because it's the one thing that we have all the time. It's the thing we carry with us everywhere. And if we can make it sweeter and kinder and more peaceful, then we are sweeter and kinder and more peaceful, and our experience of the world is. Now, Fluffy, you said you weren't sure if it was me that did it or if it was you that did it, or the people you're thinking of. I'm certain that it was you that does that. My words were suggesting that you would go into this piece, but it's only the way that you paid attention to the words that created that experience for you. And if thinking about other people brings you peace, it's the way you think of those people. Hey, welcome everyone. We just finished our opening meditation, and you guys are welcome to come in and join us. We're just sharing nice moments or experiences that we had in our opening meditation, and then we're going to begin our discussion. Has anyone else got something from the meditation that they'd like to share or ask about? Or all right, well, if there's nothing else that people want to, then in just a moment we can move on to the next part of our session. Anyone out there on the live stream would like to share? Actually, one thing I'd like to reflect upon is when I said think about all the people in the world that are meditating this week. Just trying to imagine all the peace that people made and all the caring. And I know it's like about 100 million people that meditate regularly, which is what, 1 in 60. And at first I was thinking, I don't know that many, but maybe I do. But yeah, it made me want to connect with more people who like to cultivate these beautiful states of consciousness. Nov?
I was. Are we still sharing?
We're doing whatever you guys want to do. Yeah.
Okay. I was having trouble because like I kept having like outside thoughts coming in, but like I had a moment of peace, and I was like, I don't know, it's like the other stuff was washing away, and I felt like it's hard to explain because I haven't felt this before, but it was like I was just there were thoughts that I thought were defining me, but now it was just me, you know?
That sounds great. I can only really guess. I mean, you could tell us more, but yeah, it's what you just described sounds very peaceful and insightful to me.
I wish I could say more, but like I said, I don't quite understand myself yet.
It's interesting phrase that many people say about understanding ourselves. My experience as I've practiced meditation and been able to transform things, and as I've looked really closely, my understanding of myself and of everybody has really changed. Like I really think that I've seen myself wildly transform after a month of doing kindness meditation, or wildly transform after practicing confidence for a month or two. And then I look at different people that I've known that are one way, and then they start hanging out with some different people, and then they just transform so much. My understanding of people now is that we're very malleable, and I don't even know if I believe there is like a self. Perhaps we're just all changing and just soaking up different influences and ideas all the time. Which then makes me ask, okay, well what do I want to make important? And that could be different to every person. But yeah, I do like this. There's quotes that it's more like, rather than finding myself or trying to understand myself, I'm choosing to create myself or design myself. And that can then beg the question, like for some people they're like, oh yes, I want to be like this and I want a world like this. And then other people are like, well, I don't know what I'd want if I could be anything. And so then it can be nice to find good questions. I like to imagine what kind of world I would like. Like, how would I want people to treat me? And I'm going to practice being that kind of person. And what would I like the world to be like? Like how fun or at ease or inviting and sharing, caring would I want the world to be? Okay, I'm going to try and be that kind of person. And I know you've just walked into the temple. When I say try and be that kind of person, the general approach to trying still applies, but I'm actually hoping to imply something more. Like when we meditate, we're able to transform in ways that are more beautiful. Like I hope you just experienced, you had these defining thoughts. Then when you just let everything settle, You're more in touch with just being. And the more we do that, the more we're free to be just being. Then we get to choose what we want to be. And on the other hand, as well as being able to still all these defining thoughts and let them go, we're also able to create more powerful ones, which we need to be careful of. Like I made myself social, and then I amped that up after years of loneliness, and then I was partying too much. And Buddhist monks probably would have said, well, that was really unskillful. You shouldn't have been creating those things. You should have just been meditating in a cave. And I mean, they wouldn't all say that, but some would. But I think there is some beauty in cultivating intentionally, like whether we're practicing kindness and patience and care and well-wishing for everybody, or whether we're imagining being completely relaxed and confident and fun around people, or not, whatever. I'm sure there are some things, if you're like, well, if I could be like that, that would be nice. Or if I could be like this in that situation, that would be nice. What I really am proposing is not just to try and do that, but I hope in this space of meditative freedom, you could imagine how good that would be. And you get to role play it and practice it. And as you create that awesomely in your imagination and in your feelings, your brain has a very clear goal, and you can just get there, and it can feel that, and it can become that, and it can think like that really quickly. Midnight, we had our opening meditation, which was a time of peace and then a time of caring, and we've just been sharing, and yeah, that's where we're up to right now. All right. And yeah, feel free if you want to type something. Praying hands. Yes, greetings to the infinite awesome inside of you, and greetings and love to every other part of you too. So I was saying to the community before we started that today, especially if any of you have any questions, anything that's going on in your life, anything you want to discuss or themes, today I really wanted this to be guided by you. So Nav, if you have anything more you'd like to say or ask, please do, or anybody else as well.
The hell?
I think there's about 3 or 4 avatars just hanging out over there. Maybe they've just come to entertain us. All right, well, if no one has anything that's come to mind, what I actually am going to do is take us back into meditation with the intention for the positive experience to help you. If we were a sports team and I was like, hey, let's practice shooting some hoops. It can be fun, but also every time you do it, you get better at shooting hoops. So every moment we sit in meditation, you've learned to have more of this peace, and you've learned to be the greater director of your moment-to-moment consciousness. And you learn to let go of things, put them on that lily pad and just let them go. And you might be doing that in meditation, but you might also just be able to do that anywhere. Maybe you find yourself in a situation that's a little daunting. And you're like, oh, daunting. Put it on the lily pad. Off it goes. Every moment that we meditate, we're learning these skills that can stay with us and keep getting better, hopefully forever. So, my intention is to take us in the meditation for its own beautiful positivity. But also, I'm going to pose the question to your subconscious. Perhaps you will think of questions about meditation, or about life, or about philosophy of mind. Or maybe you've got something going on in your life right now that you'd like to ask what would be a meditative approach or a brain programming different perspective that could help with those parts of your life. So, posing that question to you, if you have ideas about your meditation practice, or about consciousness, or about life, in this meditation, those questions may arise. And let's jump back into meditation. If you're still feeling peaceful and meditative from the first meditation, that's great. And as I'm getting my body comfortable, I'm also remembering how peaceful I felt before, and maybe you will as well. So I invite everybody to close your eyes and just have a moment to feel good about giving yourself peace, practicing being more aware in each moment. Cherishing how beautiful it is to be conscious, and that you are becoming the master of your own consciousness. You're becoming the artist of your own inner art gallery, the writer of your own scripts. And with that intention set, let's all take some strong breaths together. It's like an anchor that catches your attention and carries you in to meditation. As we mentioned before, in every second there is countless little moments. And I invite you to try and consciously notice as many of those little moments in every second. No need to think about them or about how the meditation's going. Just try to experience them. Just watch yourself, watching your experience. And we'll make the focus of our attention to be just on the breath flowing in and out. holding your attention on the breath, seeing every moment, and seeing yourself watching every moment of your breath. If you notice your mind doing anything else, bring yourself back into the breath. You're practicing guiding your own meditation. How do you create the anchor and decide to be in the breath and then be in the breath? Watch how you do that. We'll have a bit longer of just breathing. Try to make every moment of the breath captivate all of your attention. Just for now, this is all that matters. Purely watching my consciousness. Imagine if every moment of your life you had this deep peace and presence and calm with you. If you wanted to, you could build on top of that excitement or laughter or focus or technical thinking or kindness. Anything you could imagine. But at your core, at your foundation was stillness and presence. Imagine if you never reacted to anything. Whatever happened, you would always choose your chosen reaction. And any time you see an old habit or an old attitude, you just let it go, put it on a lily pad and let it float away. Always stepping in to more freedom. This foundation of peace, of being at ease, of no judgment, pure acceptance, pure presence. And now I pose the question to you. What would you like to ask about meditation? Why do we sit in stillness? How does the breath help us? What are some subtle things that could help with how I breathe, meditate? Or with my kindness meditation practice, or when I practice positive transformations. Maybe you could think of parts of your life right now, work or friends or family, something that's been going on in your mind. If you're going to shine the light of freedom, transformation, and awesomeness onto every part of you, then we're going to move from the meditation into our discussion. And I want you, as well as being empowered to ask or share anything, also be empowered to share positive transformations you've had or insights you've had that may be helpful to others. So I wanted to start with that question of, why do we just breathe? Like, why is that this foundational brain training? And there's one really simple answer. There are hundreds of answers, but one thing that really stands out to me is, your mind is full of all this activity. And I could be talking about kindness for everybody. And if our mind was just to engage with that the way normal minds do, maybe some people would be captivated by the idea of kindness. And some people would be like, but what about that person who treated me like this today? And our mind's like, has all this stuff it's juggling. So when we go to cultivate change, we're still kind of in the tangle. Whereas by just breathing, we let all of that stop. We get to that place where all the lily pads are empty. We're a clear stream of pure consciousness. And then when I say, hey, imagine kindness for other people, you're able to just purely feel kindness in its essence. Or relaxation and peace with everybody. Or being good at math. Or like whatever it is you want to meditate on and cultivate on. We start with this foundation of stillness. That's this freedom. And from that, we can then be able to envisage and feel anything without it being tangled up in anything else we'd been carrying it around. And likewise, as well as that stillness, there's also an element of concentrating. Every moment that you're, I'm breathing, I'm really aware, I'm focused on my breathing. It's like your mind becomes a brighter laser pointer. More and more of your consciousness is unified, so that as well as being more free, your mind is also stronger. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say about that for now. If people have follow-up questions about that, we can discuss that, or if anything else has arisen for you, let's see where this session takes us. All right, whatever's on your mind right now, I want to hear it.
Well, just thinking about the silence. Thinking about the silence makes me think about a certain person who would use that silence in order to probably ease someone who is in the room with that person. And of course he would do that with children. And just wondering why he would use silence. And I'm just in awe. Like, silence is a gift, and we are pretty much, we should be thankful that silence is even a thing, because if we listen hard enough, if we pay attention to the silence gives us sound. And for me, silence is the loudest thing there is on this earth.
Wow, I found that really moving, Fluffy. Thank you.
You're
That,
welcome.
I hope that phrase, silence is the loudest thing on this earth, I hope I feel that again next time I sit to meditate as much as I just felt it. So thank you. So Hello Merck has written in the chat, I've been thinking a lot recently about how they did brain scans of someone who isn't meditating and someone mid-meditation. I haven't meditated in a good while, but always think back to the benefits. I hope you were joining us for the meditations today and you got to feel it right now. And from a lot of the brain scan studies I've seen is that 8 minutes a day, every day, is enough for the changes in brain structure to keep growing. So perhaps you saw just how the state of mind had changed in mid-meditation, or maybe it was a study where people had been regular meditators, and your brain actually grows differently. The parts that relax things, they send their neurons out through the brain and bring a state of peace everywhere as you practice that. And the extra awareness is able to intercept reactions and be more empowered. So I would love to encourage you to set a goal 8 minutes a day, or maybe even just 3 minutes a day. But if you're going to do it every day, in a little while you'll love it so much that you'll build it up more and more, and you'll be doing easily 8 minutes a day. And yeah, I've been joining you all today. It's nice. It's always a nice go. Not to mention how the cats all decide to sit on me as I meditate. Isn't that amazing? I don't know if anyone here has meditated while there's animals around, but almost invariably when you meditate and there's animals there, they come over and they cuddle you, or they sit in front of you and meditate. It's like they can feel what's going on. It's so special. And Hello Merck said the scans that he was talking about were on a monk. So yeah, it's amazing to see how the brain can literally rewire itself as we keep practicing. And I really hope for everyone here that we get to do some of these brain transformations, that we do have this foundation of peace and freedom that I mentioned. I hope every one of you can try to imagine a greater peace and a more profound presence and ease than you're currently imagining. And I really am wishing that for all of us, for this whole community to become more conscious, mindful, inner peaceful, equanimous, happy. Yep, absolutely. Helen Merck, thanks so much for sharing. And I would pose the question for you. What would motivate you to meditate each day? Or perhaps you are motivated. So is it just choosing a time each day to make it part of your routine? Or is it picking whether you want to do breathing meditation or body scan relaxations or kindness meditation? Ask yourself the question, what would it be that would get you into the meditation habit, that would get you these amazing results that you're excited about? I'd love you to contemplate that for a little bit and let us know in the chat. Venga's sending virtual love heart emojis out to everybody. Let the world see that. Yeah, actually that makes me think of when I hear of these brain scans. I mentioned before, why do we why don't we just breathe? And many, many people find that when we just do stillness, somehow we find amazing happiness or beautiful kindness and love. It could be that people just make that suggestion. When you meditate, these amazing things happen. But either way, I think it's amazing that when we let the mind settle and be peaceful, many or most people have these amazing surprises, beautiful presence and happiness and joy that arises, or this letting go of something they've carried for years, and suddenly they're at ease about a huge part of their life, and that can feel liberating or hilarious or joyful. Pops?
I wanted to ask a short, I don't know if it's a short question. Anyways, I'll spit it out. I've found that when I'm in conversation with people on some occasions, it is hard to not feel the gut feeling of jealousy when someone says they're doing something quite amazing that you don't have the resources or access to. Just to give like a little over-the-top example, because I don't have something on my mind right now, but if someone says, hey, I'm only 20 years old and I just bought my first house, no mortgage, and there's a Lambo in the driveway, and I have a beautiful, caring wife, and it's like in that gut moment, you're like, wow, I kind of wish I had that, and it portrays in like the voice and the expression, but it's not what I want to feel, and later I can reprogram myself to not think that about that thought. But in the very heat of the moment, it's very hard to not have that gut reaction, I would say.
That's a great question. So I also had, was jealousy the word you used? Yeah. So definitely I noticed that after I'd been meditating a while, when I met people who had something awesome going on. And jealousy doesn't feel good, does it? And I think it was in a few of the self-help books I was reading, there was a different approach that was suggested, and it really helped me. So they posed it as, imagine your subconscious is thinking of yourself having your own house paid off, having a great relationship. And its first thought is people feeling jealous about you. And there's like healthy positive intention. If you hear someone having that situation and you're like, wow, that's great, I would love that, it's very different to being like, oh, I wish I had that. So right now I'm talking about if the subconscious feels that people are going to be like, oh, then it's going to be less excited to achieve that. And so these books spun it around and said, hey, when you hear something awesome, you're feeding your own mind to be excited about it by just celebrating with them. High five them, be like, yeah, that's great. Now, I'm not certain that this theory of the subconscious mind is right, that feeling jealousy would make you less motivated for it. But I did like that idea that, hey, if I was celebrating with them, I would be more motivated for it. I would be making happier, sweeter moments, and my own self would have this more positive relationship with whatever kind of successes I encountered. And I definitely found it. I intentionally tried to celebrate and feel really good whenever someone told me stuff, and then that made me feel much better about any successes that I would have. So I hope you can just imagine that a bunch of times, and the next time someone's telling you something great, you've got it so that your very first reaction is to just celebrate with them. Just be like happy for them. There's the idea in many meditation circles of sympathetic joy. Like when other people are happy, it also brings you happiness. There's also the possibility they took it for granted. Perhaps they grew up so rich, they were just given a house. They don't even realize how lucky they've got it. And if you were to share some appreciation and awe with them, I think you're actually just making the world better if you help them feel good about the wonderful situation that they're in. What do you think of that, Pops? It didn't hit the spot? All right.
I just don't know.
So I hope that idea of celebrating with them, that percolates in your mind, and then next time you're in those situations, that celebration arises straight away. Let's explore what some other approaches might be. If you were sharing with someone something in your life that was good, maybe maybe it's something that you don't even necessarily appreciate, but to someone else that's like great. What if you shared something with them and you could see on them just jealousy? What would you wish for them to feel, or how to react instead?
Well, I'm not sure how to answer the question directly, but here's my thoughts. So, um, I have been on the other end of the situation before, and that is very understandable when you explain it that way. Um, I would say that as a human being, I wouldn't mind if the other person felt that way. In fact, I would almost feel guilty that they felt that way because that was not my intention, and I would also hope that the other person would, if they really did feel like what I achieved or accomplished was just, say, a handout or taken for granted, that instead of immediately assuming that, they would be open to having a discussion with me. And because I'm a pretty open person in general, um, you could say I'm open source with my code, sort of. And so um, I don't really mind talking, but I think the most frustrating part would be if someone made the assumption that it was taken for granted and then was upset at me instead of saying, "Wow, how did you get to that spot? What did you work on? What did you learn?"
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
That sounds like a great reaction. Next time you're in that situation, what if you were just filled with curiosity, and you ask them those questions? Hello Merck wrote that they'd wish that they could find happiness. Yeah. And Pops, I really liked what you said.
I think that was really good.
Zanzibar.
Well, yeah, I just really liked, that reflection on that was really cool. I find it made me think of so many times when I have interactions with people, like it's like there's always like this immediate filter. I have to go through this filtering process sometimes. Like I have these gut reactions to things the way, you know what I mean? Like somebody says something, or I'm in a situation, and my first reaction or first frame of thought goes somewhere, like just very naturally. Um, and I always have to take a step back and not react to that first kind of very simple, like almost animalistic kind of reactionary thinking that happens to a lot of things. And I have to kind of take a step back and just kind of reflect on that. So I thought that's what it made me kind of think of what you were just talking about, to kind of redirect your thinking to like curiosity, and kind of almost tune into it like a different radio station instead of staying on the station that it comes up first, you know, when you get stuck on some kind of thought process when you're interacting, you know, some kind of reactionary thought process to something.
I love that metaphor of tuning into a different station. Like you change the dial and you get completely different music. And the mind can really be like that too. And my hope is that you tune into a different station once, or maybe 2 or 3 times, and that then becomes your default station. So next time you're in that situation, just automatically have these different reactions that you've been playing with. Thanks so much for sharing, Zanzibar. And Pops, and Zanzibar, I want to reiterate, these good ideas, sometimes they're great enough that they transform you. Celebrating for them or becoming curious, bang, maybe that's how you're going to be next time. But I want to reiterate that there's a real amazing power to practice it regularly. So if you spend a minute each day imagining this scenario and just feeling, that scenario pushes the button of curiosity. If you just rehearse that a bunch of times, you'll find yourself just feels so natural that I become curious in that situation. Or you rehearse that I celebrate them and I feel good and I feel open to the possibility that I'll have more of that. And even if I don't, I'm happy for them. You practice that a bunch of times, that scenario pushes this happiness button, this celebration button. You'll get to a point where that feels like your natural reaction. I want to take a segue back to Hello Merc. They responded about their regular meditation practice. And they said motivation is always there, but capacity is not. I try to do a little bit while driving or what have you, but it's more difficult to do in public than in my home. All right. Well, Hello Merc, I want to... where's changing cameras? I want to look you in the eye. And... whoop. Here we go. This is for everybody here. In terms of capacity about meditation, I know we're busy. I know there's so much going on. But I really want to put to you the amazingness. When we meditate more, we're able to let go of some of the stuff that's less important. And if you were to give yourself 8 minutes of meditating every morning, right after you brush your teeth, I guarantee that that amount of time would easily pay for itself in saved time, thoughts and feelings you don't waste time on, or random distractions that you don't get engaged with anymore. So I want to thoroughly encourage you to try it. What if you did a 10-minute meditation or 8-minute meditation every morning? Just see what would happen in a month. And the motivation's there, but then there's all the other stuff. So I guess I want to get the excitement for that, the curiosity to try it, the dedication to, hey, I can fit 10 minutes in. The morning routine feeling of flow, something that pushes your button. It's like, oh yeah, I will get that meditation in the morning, and the benefits that will come out of it, I know are going to be wildly worth it. A lot of people spend time on leisure activities or distractions or games. And I put out to all of you that when we meditate regularly, the happiness we can create is better than any distraction video we could watch or some video game we could play or if you were just to give yourself this time of cultivating your own inner bliss and peace, not only is it more enjoyable than some other enjoyment activities, but it also has the added bonus of rewiring your brain, bringing ease to so many other parts of your life, making all your other social interactions more loving, caring, more blissful. The benefit flows out to everything. Just trying to do everything I can to give you a hook to be like, oh yeah, let me give that a try. If you're feeling really busy and there's so much going on and you're at capacity, maybe just letting things calm down a little bit is the best gift you could give yourself. Some time for the less important things to fade away so that the more important things get the real attention and the creativity that they deserve. Helen Merck, am I getting closer to the spot that will get you wanting to meditate tomorrow morning? Another thing you could do is, I love that you're here with us. I hope that you also have other friends that you talk about mindfulness and meditation with. Put some meditation in with some good friends. Make a 5-minute peaceful moment with some friends and just to see how good you all feel afterwards, or how much you laugh afterwards because suddenly you're all feeling way more at ease and joyful with each other. This might sound a little spiritual, but I just tried to look within. What else could I say? And I just really feel that if you look within and you ask yourself, what's the goals I want to have in my life? What's the way that I want to live? What's really in alignment with my biggest values? I think it'll become very clear that meditating regularly is right up there at the top of the list, and that the motivation and the decision to do it and the way to fit it into your morning becomes clear. And you're saying, haha, yeah, it's mostly other restraints that make it easy to put it off. Yep. Actually, that's something for everybody. life is just throwing stuff at us all the time. And, the reason I said meditate after we brush our teeth in the morning, or some way of putting it into your morning routine, if it just happens automatically as the way you start your day, then it's just there as this little shining light through your whole day, more so than any of the other things that come at us. So, yeah, I hope you get up 8 minutes earlier and meditate every morning, and that the meditation is so peaceful that it easily makes up for that 8 minutes of sleep and then makes your whole day great. I love that we've just had this little talk, because now I suddenly am motivated to meditate even longer each day. So, thank you. Fluffy, I was talking to the camera, if you're wondering what I was... Ooh, there we go.
Alright.
Cool. Alright. Onyx, welcome. Today I've really just been letting everyone that's here drive the session. Any kind of questions about meditation, about anything that's going on in our life, how would we bring mindfulness or transformation to it? So yeah, I think we're at a space. Onyx, I think you're typing something, or if anyone else has anything else they want to ask. Pops, if you want to follow up on that other topic if we didn't really resolve it. Anyone out on the live stream, here we are for us. What's the best way to meditate? Hey, that's a really good question. So thanks, Onyx. There are different kinds of meditations, and I can't say the best way. I can say some kinds of meditations that I think are less effective. And within those different kinds, the ones I do like, I can also tell you things that I think are really helpful. Different people find different things helpful at different times. But I'm going to assert that from my understanding and all the different things I've practiced, seeing how we talk to ourselves or how we think about things, being able to say like, hey, I'm programming my brain. I want that to be central to everything. So if there's a kind of meditation where they're like, we're going to spin around and say jab, jab, jab 10 times, and then blah will happen to us. If it's something where it's like something's going to happen to you, if it's some kind of meditation that's taking away your agency, I'd say that they're missing the point. That's kind of like, hey, we'll put this idea in your subconscious and we believe it happens, where actually it's just the suggestion that brewed in your subconscious and happened. So, I don't know how many different styles of meditation you've explored. But yeah, I definitely would try to get you, whenever you hear any different styles, try and look through the lens of, hey, is this empowering me? And when you look at different styles, you'll see some are more empowering. Some teach you about your ability to guide your mind, about moment-to-moment empowerment and awakening. All right, so I've talked about some of the ways not to meditate and some of the lenses in which to evaluate them. But now let me answer the question. Things that I have found to be the best ways of meditating. I often mention kindness meditation. I think that's a beautiful meditation that everybody in the world could use more love and caring and kindness. If you look up a traditional metta meditation, pretty much every way that people have written it is very good. I like to think the way I guide the loving kindness meditations is the best of all the ways that I've seen. But as I said, different people will resonate with different presentations of it. So they're pretty much all great loving kindness meditations. Body scan meditations, being able to just feel each part of our body, somehow has a very soothing experience on our body and on our consciousness. Body scan meditations are great. The way I guide a body scan meditation is just the same as anyone else who's guiding one who's practiced a bunch. I like to also throw in some beautiful suggestions, like as your body relaxes, your mind becomes peaceful, and you may find sensations of floating or magnetic waves, or so combining positive suggestions with body scans is great. But yeah, anywhere that someone's guiding a body scan, they're pretty much all excellent. Breathing meditation, focusing on the breath, I think, as we were covering earlier before you arrived, to me is pretty foundational in brain training. Being able to see your mind in every moment and, oh, look over there. Oh, noticing when your attention moves and then being able to bring it back and just deciding where my attention is. Something really powerful about being able to notice where your attention goes in each moment and choosing where you put it. And not just your attention, but also your feelings. Hey, right now, I'm going to choose to be in peacefulness. Or it might not be right now, it might be a breath or two, but you can get there faster and faster. Right now, I'm going to choose to be in happiness. Like being able to watch your consciousness and craft every moment is a beautiful benefit that can come from breathing meditation. Now, I said with kindness meditation, they're pretty much all great. And body scan meditations, they're pretty much all great. I hope if you listen to the ones I guide that you'll see some things about them that are extra special. I've tried lovingly to put extra special things in there, but they're all pretty much great. Now, with breathing meditation, I've seen different presentations of it get vastly different results. So, I'm going to share what I have found to be the most effective thing with breathing meditation. Having this positive intention that you're going to breathe, your mind's going to become still, you're going to be able to observe every moment. In the stillness, it will feel amazing. Perhaps as you let the mind become still and everything settles, as the dust clears, there are amazing places of pure bliss, massive compassion, happiness inside of you. Having that kind of idea there as you go to meditate can be motivating and can actually get your subconscious to take you there faster. And then as we're breathing, the way we do it can make a big difference. What I found most beneficial is we're aiming to breathe and have our attention on the breath with every moment. There are some metaphors that some people find helpful. There are some chants that some people find helpful. But ultimately, I think that detracts from just breathing. The practice of just instantly coming back to the breath can only really be achieved by practicing instantly coming back to the breath. So earlier we were talking about this idea of if you see a thought arise, imagine it's a cloud floating away, or put it on a lily pad and let it float down the river. This can be a helpful metaphor. It could also be really helpful if some feeling arises in your life and you're like, oh, don't want that one. Just let it float away. But ultimately, what I would suggest more to the point is when you see a thought arise, you just try and come back to the breath as instantly as you can. No other thinking about it, no other metaphor to be helpful. I'm just practicing purely experiencing my breath. And if that starts hard, that's all right. I'm just fascinated by my mind. Every moment that I come back to my breath is amazing. There are lots of videos on my channel about breathing meditation, but I think I've summarized like the main differentiator from other schools, like really just being in the moment, every moment. There's loads of other positive suggestions that you can feed into that meditation. There's perspectives that can help. There's ways that it can be guided that like take you there faster. Check out the videos. But I think in terms of the answer, focus on the breath, breathing meditation, that would be my answer there. So I've said kindness meditation, body scans, breathing meditation. I love laughter and happiness meditations. As far as I've seen, I'm the only person in the world that guides it the way I do. But I have found other schools that also do happiness and laughter meditations. And just the ability to just be joyful and just find more happiness and joy for its own sake, not responding to anything else. It's excellent because laughing is healthy and being happy makes you feel more at ease and light. But I actually love the enlightening experience of laughter meditation. When you've been laughing for a few minutes just on happiness itself, and then you say, and now imagine being twice as happy. And because you're feeling happy and liberated, you just go to being twice as happy. That is an experience that's outside of what normal people have. And knowing that your mind can just transform its consciousness, it's I don't have words for how good it is. It's just so good. I think we should try some happiness meditations in VR again. I've got to find more ways to make it work in VR. But in real life, laughter meditations, when you're actually with other people and feeding off the joy in the room, is amazing. Zara Rin just said that they're wishing everyone fulfillment and sends us all a flower. Okay, so happiness meditation, kindness meditation, mindfulness, breathing meditation, body scans. And then one other that I'd like to add to this palette would be intentional rehearsing. So kindness meditation is a version of this. It's just traditionally become its own thing that's amazing. But if you were to also intentionally rehearse, I love math class. I love thinking about things very precisely. Or if you were to intentionally rehearse, I feel great on the sports field. Or I'm really patient when someone says this kind of thing. Or any kind of part of your life, if you decide to rewire either something that used to push your button, you make that button create a different reaction, or you rehearse being better at sport, or being expressive in a certain way, or responding differently when people say things that would have made you jealous, or loving healthy food, or being able to laugh in the rain. Like any part of your life, if you could imagine a better way of being, if you rehearse that regularly, you will find yourself that you then start to feel like that is natural, and that you start to think that way. Couple of caveats is that when you're doing this rehearsal, so I used to be incredibly shy, and I'd spent years thinking, I wish I wasn't shy, but I stayed shy. It was when I started rehearsing, wow, it feels so good to be relaxed and at peace around everybody, that a couple of weeks of that started to work. And you notice I said it in the present tense. It does feel good to be relaxed around people. Even though I wasn't relaxed, I was still shy. I give myself just a minute where I imagined I was already relaxed and how good it felt. So you take a positive transformation, you imagine you've already got it, and you just be it. You practice it, you envisage it, you feel it. Like it's already true. I wasn't thinking about being shy, I was thinking about being relaxed and positive. So it's positive, it's present tense, it's first person. I am relaxed around people and it feels great. So yeah, mental rehearsal in any area of your life is another one of my best meditations. So to reiterate the 5 that I said: body scans, compassion meditation, breathing mindfulness meditation, laughter meditation, and mental rehearsal, self-instructions. They're the 5 of the hundreds that I've tried that I would just always put a rock solid stamp on. There's a couple of others that I would add to that list that are pretty great, but those 5 I'd say are like the foundation, the most awesome ones I know. Thank you for your great question. It's almost time for us to finish, so I'd like to dive into our closing meditation. Any last minute questions or comments from anybody before we do? Zanzibar.
Yeah, I'll kind of make it a little quick. Something you said earlier about not sure if maybe there is like an actual like self-identity, that, you know, how much we change amongst each other and how we are malleable. Kind of made me think of something I've thought about a lot myself, in like when you can kind of lose yourself in different thoughts or ideologies, if you don't have some kind of anchor to kind of go back to, like where I've got to where I didn't even know who I was as a person or have my own identity because I got so far into certain things. So it just kind of made me think about that and something that made me turn away from different paths that I went down, because I realized that I needed to find myself or find my own way that wasn't completely encompassed by other things, you know, like a whole nother ideology that where you can just completely lose yourself, you know, if you don't have some kind of anchor of like a core of who you are, or something to come back to, you know. It's like getting lost in space almost.
I also was involved in some movements where I just got so wrapped up in it. I never found a movement where I was like, yes, I completely agree with this. If I did, maybe it would be okay to completely lose myself in it. But I think my ideal movement would be so great that people love it, but it also helps bring the most awesome out of everybody. But I really like what you just said about an anchor. When I mentioned it before, I felt like there was more to be said. So I'm glad you brought that up. For me, my anchor is that I want a world where people are more aware of their ability to transform, and we're helping each other be our best self. what I choose to be as the most transformed, awesome me is not what you're going to choose. Some of it might overlap, but you're going to choose other stuff. But I want a world where everyone is helping each other to be as empowered as possible. That's foundational for me. I didn't find a group or a movement that did that. I also really care about like science and reality. Like if there's a group that believes things that's demonstrably not true, I don't want to believe it. I want to believe the things that are true and measurable. So the stuff we can actually measure is like the foundation for me. Other things that are a foundation for me is to cause no harm and to try and understand things as clearly as possible and base my philosophies and ideas around things in a way that that work as much as possible. In Buddhism, there's this idea of the Eightfold Path, and they tried to have that their words are as true and kind and good in every way as possible, and that their actions are as true and kind and good in every way as possible, and their things they put their effort into are as true and kind and good in as many ways as possible. And I guess that's an anchor for me. When you were stepping back to ask what's your anchor, what kind of things did you find?
Oh, are you asking me?
Yeah.
My immediate thought was my brain went right to mathematics, but I felt like it was like such an off topic, but you kind of almost went right there with measurable in science and stuff, you know. As much as I feel like I'm always trying to push outside of the box, and I feel limited by the measurables, it's always something that is like so important to be able to recreate and like come back to like an anchor, you know what I mean? Mathematics and things that is so foundational to everything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That it's kind of like without that, then it's like, you know, we're just kind of making stuff up, you know?
So many people run on confirmation bias and are happy to make up stuff and then just keep finding how they think that's true. And I want to be engaged with what's really true. So yeah, I feel closer to you that you just shared that. We're going to have to dive into our closing meditation now, because I got to jump out at 7 on the dot. Onyx, in honor of your question, I'm going to try and take us on a tour of those 5 foundations. Normally that would be hours of meditation, but let's see if we can do it in 8 minutes. Okay. So everybody sit back, get comfortable, close your eyes, and take a deep breath. Feel where your arms are. Are they sitting on the arms of your chair? Or are they in your lap? How are the hands sitting? Maybe you'll adjust them when you become conscious of it. Feel your fingers. Feel your knuckles. Feel the backs of your hands and the palms of your hands. Now feel the whole of your hands as you take a deep breath. And you might have found some nice sensations as you just feel your hands. And those nice sensations, we're going to take them with us as you feel into your wrists and into your arms, your elbows, your upper arms. Scan your attention through all the muscles in your shoulders. Run that down into the muscles in your chest. Take a deep breath into your lungs. And then feel the strong muscles in your shoulder blades. Another deep breath down into your torso. Feel the muscles around your torso. And feel your hips and your legs and your knees, your calves, your ankles, your feet and your toes. Whatever nice feelings are flowing through your arms and your torso and your legs, just take a deep breath and enjoy it all. Take another deep breath and fill up the lungs. Stretch up into your shoulders with a bit deeper breath. Then feel the base of the neck, and the back of the neck, and the back of the head, the top of the head. Imagine your face relaxing, your forehead and your eyes and your jaw, all the muscles in your face becoming peace. And just imagine giving yourself a body scan meditation. You'll be able to find more and more amazing, relaxing sensations, beautiful feelings. And then we bring our attention to our breath. I want you to notice the point where you feel the breath coming in and out of your nose. There may be many points, but just feel where you feel it strongest. And imagine that's a single point in space and your attention is going to sit there. And as you surf on that point through space-time, you're going to stay in this moment of now. It's this single point in space-time, that place where you feel the breath right now, right now, right now. The feelings there change every moment from cool to hot. The speed of the breath speeds up, slows down, changes direction. So just surf on that point. We'll take 3 slower, deeper breaths as you keep surfing that point. And still peacefully, we'll take 3 shallower breaths. Keep feeling that point in every moment. You give yourself a moment to just be fascinated. How much concentration and stillness could I create? What would it be like for my entire consciousness to be immersed in just breathing, for everything else to stop, for me to experience infinite peace? So you could give yourself breathing meditation every day, 8 minutes a day has been enough to show that our brains rewire, and this foundation of peace and self-awareness permeates our whole self. As we then move into a compassion meditation, it's so nice that you just gave yourself a meditation. Give yourself a moment to just appreciate that you're caring for you. And the extra peace and positive feelings that you made, you're going to have that to give to your family and friends. So just to take a moment to feel that care and that goodness and that love. And just feel that continuing to grow and expand out to more and more people as you practice it more and more. And imagine the beauty of loving kindness meditation becoming bigger and more beautiful and more uplifting. Imagine if you did it every day for a month and you got to a point where you felt pure, infinite compassion and well-wishing for all beings, for the whole universe. And then let yourself feel the well-wishing for everyone. Feel the well-wishing that every person in the world could give themselves self-kindness, positivity, that they could practice being who they wanted to be, that they could let go of any limiting or painful thoughts or attitudes or self-belief, and that we could all rehearse and be who we choose. And just to finish, you're going to have a glimpse of happiness meditation. I invite you to just put a smile on your face and imagine just being a little bit more happy than you are right now. And just take some happy breaths. Maybe you could imagine being a little more happy. You can contemplate the idea that there's more happiness in you than you ever know is possible. And if you meditate on it, you'll be able to cultivate it. How good that will feel. So I invite everyone just to wrap your arms around yourself. Give yourself a hug. Appreciate we had a little glimpse of happiness meditation. A little glimpse of positive thinking and rehearsal. A little moment of care and compassion. We had about 10 breaths of breathing, concentration, mindfulness, single-pointed meditation. And we had a body scan that brought us into a different state of consciousness. Good feelings in the body. And on that note, I'd like to finish with our dedication. There's so much goodness available to us. There's beautiful feelings. There's self-transformation that can change our life, and that we can then shine out to people around us. Give this goodness the time that it deserves. Give meditation, self-reflection and transformation the conversations and the attention that it deserves. Give yourself joy and laughter and peace and all the positivity that you can give yourself. Give it to yourself as a gift. Give it to your future self as a gift. Give it to your future friends as a gift. Give it to the world. As you give it to yourself, it shines out to everyone. I hope that's reason enough for you to give yourself as much enlightenment, joy and empowerment as you can possibly imagine. Please prioritize it as much as possible. Be the change that you want to see in the world. Thank you all for, well, it was a beautiful session for me. I hope likewise for you. And I hope to see you all again next week.